Hey, welcome to SI Now. It is Thursday, January 26th, and I'm Maggie Gray. We'll catch up with the leading scorer for the undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs in just a moment, but let's begin today with a left tackle. Just finished his first season in the NFL. Ravens lineman Ronnie Stanley is here. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, you just finished your very first season, so what's the biggest takeaway from your rookie year?
Well, first thing is the NFL season is very long, and that's, one thing that guys kept, saying that you would really feel your first year, but, until you experience it, you're never going to know what it's like. And, I think that was just, one big thing I was happy to get that under my belt.
Absolutely. Well, you dealt with an injury, missed all of October. How did you come back from that and fit right back into the O-line?
Yeah, that was a little difficult for me because I haven't really got injured throughout most of my career, dating all the way back to high school, and haven't really missed a game since then as well. So I'm having to kind of come back from that and play at a high level and, kind of relearn my technique. And I play at a position where that's kind of the main thing is technique, and it's not natural. So it's got to be relearned, and you got to practice it. And when you don't, you kind of lose it, So
absolutely,
having to relearn that was definitely a great experience for me and just for the rest of my career.
We also learned how much the team needed you because the team didn't win a game during that stretch, which I know is a lot of factors, but one of them was certainly you, and glad to know that the foot has healed. Looking back at the season, really the one game that stands out to us is just the time you demolished Miami in Week 13. We thought Ravens, definitely a playoff team, and then you guys lost 3 of the last 4. Now that you've had a little time to reflect, what happened? What went wrong?
It's just the little things, and that's what football comes down to, is the little things, and just really 1 or 2 plays that changed the whole momentum of the game. And I can tell those plays, from every game. I obviously can't remember all of them, but during the game, you can definitely know, yeah, that's a play that's going to be a momentum play that will affect who wins this game. And it's just be able to come up on the opportunities that you're given from the other team and capitalize on their mistakes. And I think that if we were just, a little more consistent in our execution, because we had the players and the coaches enough to be competitors for the Super Bowl this year. So it just comes down to consistency in our execution.
That's got to be a little motivating, though, knowing that you do have the horses, but that you just left a couple of those wins out on the field because of a few minor adjustments, if I'm reading that the way I think I am. One other thing from that Miami game, which a lot of people were really looking at, the one where you guys won so easily, was you playing against Laramie Tunsil. Now, I know you guys became friends during the draft process. Obviously, draft night went completely sideways for him. But what does it say about him that he was able to move past that and put together this great rookie year?
No, it says a lot about him and his character. And I knew after I met him, he's that type of guy that he wouldn't let, something as evil as that happen to him, shut him down or stop his career from where he's going. And I'm super happy. He had a great start to his career, and I think he's going to have a great career for years to come.
Yeah, we're going to be watching the two of you as you come up. Obviously, these great left tackles and how important that position is. Can we talk about the Patriots game? There was a lot of hype heading into that one for you guys in Week 14. Now you know what it's like to play against the Pats. They're obviously going to be in the Super Bowl this year. What is different about going against them than maybe any other team in the league?
When you're going against the Pats, you can't make any mistakes. And if you give them anything, they're going to capitalize on it. And you have to make sure you capitalize on their mistakes if they make any, So it's just really playing game of execution and who can, execute the game plan the best for 4 quarters, and that's a lot to ask, of guys, and to stay focused for 4 quarters and do their job for 4 quarters. But to be an elite team and beat a team like that, that's what you're going to have to do.
Well, they have the #1 scoring defense. A lot of people are picking the Patriots, not just because of Brady and Belichick, but also because of how good that defense is. You went up against it. Would you be picking the Patriots in this Super Bowl?
I'm actually going with the Falcons this year.
Why is that?
I'm a fan of their offense. They have a really high-powered offense, and it's been consistent throughout the whole season. And I don't think that's gonna change in this game. They have a good identity on their offense, and their defense has just been getting better and better. And I think their defense is enough to slow down, the Patriots.
There you go. Got a score in mind?
I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though, for sure. Definitely taking the over.
Something in the 30s, something like that.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. we'll keep an eye out for that one. Let's talk about Notre Dame, shall we? Because you played with Deshaun Kaiser, who, quite frankly, is not getting the pre-draft buzz that many believe he deserves. If you could sit in a draft room with an NFL team that needs a quarterback, what would you want to tell them about Kaiser?
I would want to remind them how he even came to be in this talk and how he even came to be the Notre Dame starting quarterback. Is a guy that, just had to come into a spot where our starting quarterback was injured and he just came in the game, really not having any expectation to play. It was the beginning of the season. And to come and do what he did in that short amount of time that he had to prepare for the rest of the season, it was really amazing. And for him to show his composure and maturity, I thought that, it spoke, stories and chapters about him.
Just one very quick one before I let you go. You are from Las Vegas, Nevada. Now,
Yes.
The Raiders have filed paperwork to go to Vegas. A lot of people believe that the local residents in Vegas won't come out to support that team. What do you think?
Oh, they don't know Las Vegas people. Las Vegas people love sports, and we've been, hopeful for a professional sports team for a long time now, and I think it's just going to bring more culture to Las Vegas, and I think it's going to be great for everyone.
Curious.
Fans will definitely pack the stadium.
Fans would pack the stadiums,
Yeah.
season tickets and everything. I'm curious how the players would handle living in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's a better story, I think.
Ronnie Stanley, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on a great rookie season. I know that it was a little tough not making the playoffs, but we're looking forward to great things from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, turning to college hoops. He is one of the NCAA's most dynamic guards. Nigel Williams Goss has led his Gonzaga Bulldogs to an undefeated 20-0 record so far this season. I caught up with the standout junior yesterday. Nigel, you lead your team in points, assists, and steals, and you were named to the John Wooden midseason top 25. So congratulations on that. But what would it mean to win the award?
Obviously, it would be a great honor. Obviously, there's a ton of great basketball players, a ton of great teams. Obviously, the team aspect plays a large part in these individual awards. So obviously, it would be a huge honor if I was fortunate enough to win.
You had to sit out last season after transferring from Washington, but you got to watch the Zags make it to the Sweet 16. And I'm curious, in what ways did watching that run impact the season you're having right now?
Well, one, it was really tough, to sit out and watch, a team that was really good, obviously making it to the Sweet 16, but knowing that you obviously have things that you can bring to the table and thought I possibly could, help us get a little bit farther. But I think the biggest thing that it did for me was just add more motivation, seeing the success that I had and just kind of wanting to build on top of that this year.
I can imagine that. Your coach, Mark Few, recently said in an interview that he likes coaching transfers because it's those players that know that not everything that's promised to you while you're being recruited out of high school actually comes through. First of all, do you think that's true? And is there a different mindset when you're a transfer?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a different mindset when you transfer. Obviously, the first time around, you've never even played a college game, so you don't know what college practices are like or games are like or traveling. Any of those things. So I think the second time around, I think I was more dialed in and knew kind of specifically what I was looking for in style of play and, system and all that stuff. So I definitely think, you're just more experienced after having already played at the college level.
Yeah, so what is the most rewarding part of seeing that hard work now translate into wins for the Zags?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, winning is the name of the game. And I think I came here because I thought that they had the pieces that I could come in and help, and all of us coming together, we could do some special things this year. So to see, like you said, all of our work, we knew it was going to be tough at the beginning of the year, trying to gel all these new faces together, but we really bought into the system, and, now to be sitting at 20-0, it's just a huge, huge blessing, and we know that we have a lot more to accomplish.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And now that you're in the program, explain to us, how has Gonzaga won their conference tournament championship 7 of the last 10 years and been a perennial NCAA tournament team?
I think we're very detail-oriented. We try not to leave any stones unturned as far as our preparation. and day out at practice. And I think that work ethic and those details, allow you to have continued success. And I think that's why you don't see it just 1 year or 2 years, and you saw it over, like you said, 7, 10, 18 straight NCAA tournament appearances, just because of making sure that we're detail-oriented.
Yeah, and, going into the details, I know that you are totally focused on your own team, but we did see Kansas and Villanova and Kentucky all lose earlier this week. So it's possible that you guys are going to rise to the top spot. What would it mean to wake up and see that you're ranked #1 in the country?
I mean, honestly, I think it's a cool, kind of feeling to see, that your team is being recognized as the best team in the country. But in all honesty, I feel like it doesn't really matter who's #1 in January or February. At the end of the day, you want to be the last team standing. So obviously it would be a huge accomplishment for us as a team right now. But like I said, the goal is not to be #1 in January. It's to be #1 at the end of the season. So we'll take it, but we understand that we have a long ways to go to reach our final goal.
Yeah, you want to be #1 in the first week of April. I understand that.
Exactly,
there are some people in college basketball that will call into question your schedule. But 20-0 is 20-0. Do you feel like you have to defend it? What would you say to those critics?
I mean, honestly, I feel like when you look at the teams we played, San Diego State has been a perennial powerhouse. Obviously we took care of business. Iowa State has been a great team over the last, few years, took care of business. Florida's ranked, St. Mary's is ranked. So we've played a lot of great teams this year. But at the end of the day, we all have to play. We'll all be in the tournament in March, and at the end of the day, all the speculation will be put to rest, and the best team will rise to the top.
Listen, we wish you all the best of luck as you're sitting at 20-0. I know it might be hard, but enjoy the ride while it's going on. Nigel Williams, Goss, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you.
Little did we know that Nigel and Ronnie Stanley are actually very good friends from their childhood. They used to play AAU basketball together. Who would know? Of course, the Bulldogs host the San Diego Toreros tonight in Spokane. They are looking for win number 21. Well, the NHL All-Star Game is this weekend in Los Angeles. Earlier this week, I caught up with an LA Kings legend, Stanley Cup champion, and Hall of Fame winger, Luc Robitaille. Luc Robitaille, I think everyone's excited about the NHL All-Star Game this year. It's coming up January 29th at the Staples Center where the LA Kings play, so no pressure on the Kings to be good hosts or anything. But I think we're all just really looking forward to seeing all this new young talent. These guys are just so good at such a young age. For example, a Connor McDavid. I mean, are we seeing the next Sidney Crosby when you look at this phenom who's only in his second season?
I think we are. I mean, he's his own self, like he's such a special, explosive player. He's one of those players that if you're a hockey fan, and you will catch yourself watching Edmonton because he's playing the game. And he's a very special player. He's like, you watch him play, it's incredible. And Austin Matthews is the same explosiveness type of player, so it's going to be very entertaining, let's say. Okay,
let's talk about Austin Matthews and Patrick Lane. They're kids, they're teenagers. I mean, you won the Calder Trophy. You understand what it is to be the Rookie of the Year. What advice do you have to these two, not only for the second half of the season, but beyond?
Get some rest. I think a lot of the time when you get to the pros, I mean, the season is really in two phases. There's the beginning of the season where you're all excited and it's a lot of fun. You get tired a little bit, but you're able to fight through. And then suddenly the second half of the season where the games tighten up and, there's a lot more pressure and traveling seems to be a lot longer. So they're such special players. I mean, their talent is incredible, and that's the way our games is going. And I feel really good about the game of hockey when you see these kids come in and really performing at the level that they were expected to. And then I think these kids are going to take over the league in the next 4 or 5 years, and it's very, very exciting for us. Just like when Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby came.
What about Seth Jones? I mean, what he's been able to do in Columbus, what is most impressive about this current streak he's on?
Well, I've known Seth Jones, like we have the same agent, like when I had an agent, and he's just one of those kids. He's won everywhere he's played in his career, and he's a very special defenseman, and the way he controls the game and his size, his speed is truly amazing. And you know, everybody talks about Columbus. They've had such a great season as a team, but you need that 30-minute defenseman that can make a difference, and he's that special. Sports
Illustrated is releasing their top 17 NHL moments of all time in honor of 2017. The second one on the list is Wayne Gretzky's trade to LA. You were already there. Do you remember that day getting the news that the Great One was coming to Los Angeles?
Yeah, I remember actually 2 days before our owner, Mr. McNally, called me to say it was going to happen. I still didn't believe it. I didn't believe it was going to happen. But I was very excited because, you know, here was my idol, and I was going to play with my idol, the guy I idolized growing up. So it was pretty special for me personally.
Is that one of those situations where it's even better than you can imagine in your head?
Actually, it was worse for me at first because when you idolize, like I loved the game of hockey, and Wayne was the guy I studied everything he did. So I was expecting perfection out of him every day as a human being. So it's very hard. No one is perfect. You know, every once in a while you're going to throw an F-bomb. And to me, my idol shouldn't do that, you know, and it was like, not that he did a lot, but it was very special, like for me to play with him. But I have to admit, the first 2 years, it was hard for me to talk to him.
You were intimidated?
Yeah, very intimidated. I was watching him all the time, and I was learning a lot, but it was hard to treat him almost at an equal level.
Another big storyline from this first half of the NHL season is Jaromir Jagr moving into the second place on the all-time points list. You were line mates with him at one point. Did you ever see anything with him then that would lead you to believe he could have this kind of longevity?
No, I would have never thought he would have played that long. I mean, his first year, it was really his coming out. I think it was second or third year when I was in Pittsburgh when I got to play with him. But you could tell every once in a while he'd have groin injuries because he was so powerful. So we were almost looking at him, and this guy's not going to last that long. And his work ethic and his passion for the game has made it that he stayed and played for so long. He's an incredible phenomenon. In today's game, how fast it is and the way the young guys are coming in to be able to do what he does is truly amazing. This is not a charity case. He's not playing the NHL because someone's saying, oh, we're just going to play him because, you know, he's been there so long. This guy, he has to earn it every year and every time he steps on the ice, and he's doing it. It's truly remarkable.
We saw that funny photo of you guys with the fish.
That in the corner of my
I know,
eye.
you were ignoring it.
One of those you regret.
You were ignoring it, but, you know, he has this reputation of being this big prankster. I mean, what's the most memorable moment you have off the ice?
But we had a lot of fun. My son and I, at the time I was in Pittsburgh, he was 6 years old, and I would bring him to the rink. And Jaromir always stayed late in practice, even those days, and I would too. So there was one time where my son and I, we were teasing him, and he was playing with the kids. He's just one of those guys. He's always having fun. So we put some baby powders in a hair dryer, and we waited on the side. And Jaromir kind of he saw that we did that. He pretended that he got it in his hair for my son. My son thought it was the greatest moment ever. He's just one of those guys. He really was having fun with the kids.
We should mention that as part of the 50th anniversary of the LA Kings, you're doing Forever 50 charitable acts, 50 of them. Throughout the LA area. They're for a variety of causes. One of them is really getting involved with the YMCA and getting young kids to play hockey. Why is that important? What's the message to those young kids?
Well, it's very important because, first of all, we know what the game of hockey can do for a kid, because you can't be successful in hockey without being a good teammate. So it's really a team game. So you learn great values about that. And for us to be able to go into YMCA and distribute sticks, this year we're going to do 5,000, but in the next 3 years we'll do 25,000 of them. We'll make sure that every kid that goes to YMCA gets to play ball hockey. Kind of grew up that way in Canada, where we used to play out in the fall and the spring on the schoolyard, and it was so much fun. It's some of the best memories I have. So we want to share that with as many kids as we can. And after that, a lot of times it will, you know, go to the next step where they'll play on the ice.
It's fantastic. Luc Robitaille, thank you so much for being here. And again, congratulations, the Forever 50 Community Initiative by the LA Kings. You guys are doing great things.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The the Las Vegas Knights. It's going to take a little getting used to, but hopefully a good rivalry does develop out there on the West Coast. All right, to the pitch now. And senior soccer writer Grant Wahl is here. Grant, U.S. men's national team, they have a friendly against Serbia. Normally, we probably wouldn't be talking about that too much, but it is the first game under new head coach Bruce Arena, or at least his second stint as coach of this men's team. What are you going to be looking for?
Well, I'm looking for how this U.S. team comes out and plays from the start. I spent time with Bruce Arena earlier this month, and he wants his team to initiate aggression out on the field. And I remember going back to their famous run at the start of 2002 World Cup, and the video in the locker room before that Portugal game, Arena telling his team, first tackle, first foul, first card, first goal. He wanted his team to be aggressive. So look for that when the U.S. team takes on Serbia this weekend. This is a situation where you have some stars like Michael Bradley and Josie Altidore, not the European-based guys, but there will be some things to learn from this game.
In terms of the players, who's going to be under some pressure to make a good impression on the new head coach?
I think Steve Birnbaum, the defender from DC United, is under some pressure here because he has an opportunity, if he plays well, to potentially earn a starting spot for the really important March World Cup qualifiers. Now, he has real competition in Jeff Cameron and John Brooks. They're based in Europe. They won't be here. But if Birnbaum does well, I think he could put himself in the running for a starting spot. I also look at Jordan Morris as a guy who I'm told has been good in this January camp so far with the U.S., and here's a guy who probably is behind Josie Altidore and Bobby Wood in the pecking order, but he has a chance to earn more minutes on the field for the games that matter most in March.
He's such a phenom. It's such a pleasure to watch him. Let's head to Europe, and this is a really disturbing story. It really is the dark side of international soccer when we see crowds being and doing racist chants towards players on the field. The latest is Mario Balotelli, who plays for Nice. Now, aside from just banning these bad apples from ever attending another soccer match, what else can the sport do to eradicate these kinds of blatant racists?
It's a horribly ongoing problem that we're seeing. These were fans of Bastia in the French league last weekend that were issuing monkey chants at Mario Balotelli, who's been hearing this kind of stuff off and on his entire career, including from fans in Italy, where he's from. And it's crazy in 2017, I think, that we're still dealing with this issue in European soccer especially, but there needs to be more teeth in the punishments for crowds that do this. And I think that involves taking away points from those teams in the standings. If they keep doing it, demote them to a different league. It's that big of a deal, and that's the only way you're going to make those clubs really feel the pain and the pressure to make this stuff stop, because it is continuing. And the punishments we've seen, like playing in empty stadiums or fines, don't seem to be doing much.
Yeah, you have to do something that's like significant enough to make this stop. And you mentioned that Balotelli has dealt with this throughout his career. You wrote a Sports Illustrated cover story about Balotelli. How does he deal with this?
He's actually very thoughtful about all of this stuff and really wants to see it change. He's like, I am as Italian as anyone. I was born in this country, even though he wasn't allowed to become a citizen in Italy until 18 because of the rules there. His family from Ghana originally. And so this is something where from time to time we've seen a lot of Italian officials say racist things. I think Mario Balotelli deserves a lot of credit for calling this out publicly. He came out very quickly the other day on his social media and said, this happened to me again. This can't happen. This has to stop.
Yeah, now the rest of the soccer world has to join him in condemning this kind of behavior. There's just no room for it. Looking ahead to the weekend, your golazo. Grant, something that we cannot miss from the world of soccer. What do you have?
Well, there's no English Premier League this weekend. It's an FA Cup weekend, so maybe not as much focus as usual on England. So I'm saying Africa Cup of Nations is something you should take a look at this weekend.
Go.
You've got a tournament that takes place once every 2 years. It's a tournament that I always find very entertaining. It's available on U.S. television now on beIN Sports, and you've got 4 games this weekend in the quarterfinals on Saturday and Sunday. I love watching these games, and you've got great rivalries. Cameroon and Senegal are going to be playing. Egypt and Morocco are going to be playing this weekend. So there's 4 great games. Those are the games that I'm actually looking forward to the most this weekend.
We're looking forward to it as well, the Africa Cup. Grant, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate checking in on the world of soccer. And that's going to do it for this Thursday edition of SI Now. We will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern with a pair of Super Bowl champions. Yes, we are getting ready for the big game. Former NFL wide receiver Greg Jennings will join me, along with former running back Jerome Bettis. Until then, stick with SI.com for all the latest news, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. We'll see you tomorrow.